Good evening. Our news summary for this Monday, the 17th of November. Road safety is a shared responsibility that applies to everyone, whether a driver or a pedestrian, has stated the Minister for Transport, Ports and Civil Aviation, Véronique Laporte. Minister Laporte officially launched the Road Safety Week program of activities this morning at the Seychelles Public Transport Corporation, the SPTC headquarters. Since October this year, the police department has recorded a total of 12 fatal accidents, 3 more than the total for the whole of last year. Minister Laporte emphasized the need for collective effort to reduce the number of traffic-related incidents.
It is a call to every one of us to make our roads safer and take personal responsibility for protecting life. Whether we walk, cycle, ride, or drive, each of us plays a part in ensuring that every journey ends safely. Despite our progress in improving infrastructure, road signage, and enforcement, our road safety records continues to concern us deeply. Road safety is not just about laws and enforcement. It is about our attitude and our awareness. The real change begins with each one of us. Let us today start to make a commitment to have safer driving habits and practices to create a safer environment for everyone, including drivers, pedestrians, cyclists, and motorcyclists. Everybody basically using the road.
Human resource officers from both public and private sectors on Pralin have learned how to identify psychosocial hazards at the workplace. As part of the Safety Week activities, which was commemorated from the 10th to the 14th of last week, the Department of Employment has organized a session with these HR officers to help them reduce the risk of the hazards for the well-being of their staff. The main effect of psychosocial hazard is stress and eventually burnout. It is the first time such subject is considered as an outreach program by the Department of Employment. The Director for Labor Monitoring and Compliance Section, Stephanie Boniface, explains the meaning of psychosocial hazards.
Psychosocial hazards which affects our workers are affected mentally because as we all know, when we talk about well-being, it's not only about the physical health, there's also the mental aspect. For example, in workplaces there are so many hazards or challenges that workers face which are not necessarily physical, but it does have an effect on their mental aspects. For example, work demands, communication between managers and their subordinates, role clarity. I'm employed as an employment officer. Do I know my role? Do I know what is expected of me? So we see that when workers are not informed of their role, for example, they tend to feel demotivated or discouraged, which affects their productivity.
President Patrick Emini has announced the appointment of Roma Edmond as a new Chief Executive Officer of the Agency for Social Protection, the ASP. Mrs. Edmond holds a BTEC Higher National Diploma in Business Studies from the University of Bolton, UK, and a master's degree in Strategic Management and Leadership from the National University of Ireland. She has had a 24-year career within notable sectors like auditing, marketing, the National Assembly, and administration. She was a deputy CEO of the Agency for Social Protection from November 2016 to April 2021, during which time she also undertook the responsibilities of acting CEO from the 15th September to the 30th of November 2020. Prior to her appointment, Mrs. Edmond was employed as Director for Administration at the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning, Trade and Investment. Her appointment as Chief Executive Officer of the Agency for Social Protection takes effect as from today, November the 17th. Renovation work at several homes for the elderly is part of a plan highlighted by the Minister for Social Affairs, Family and Equality during a series of visits. Minister Pamela Charlotte visited 3 of the 5 homes for the elderly on Mahe. She visited the homes in Plaisance, Pointe-la-Rue and Au Cap. The minister had the opportunity to interact with the residents, and those who had personal concerns were able to speak to her directly. Minister Charlotte gained a better understanding of how the residents came to be placed in the homes. The final visit was at the OCAP home, which has recently undergone renovation. Residents moved back in September. According to Shinta Banan, the director of homes for the elderly, the standards of these facilities has significantly improved. She also indicated that renovation work will soon begin at several other elderly homes. The Seychelles Maritime Safety Authority, the SMSA, has brought together various agencies, regional partners, and maritime experts for a national conference aimed at identifying emerging maritime security risks and laying the groundwork for the country's national maritime risk register. This conference was officially opened this morning by the new Minister for Transport, Ports and Civil Aviation, Véronique Laporte. SMSA's CEO, Captain Daniel Adam, says there is a need for a coordinated national approach to maritime safety and security, one that integrates data, expertise and strategic planning.
This workshop is focusing on the national level and bringing stakeholders from across agencies, including the aeronautical side, because both aeronautical and maritime face similar security threats. This is to bridge the military and civilian version of security, because maritime and aviation both bridges that gap. They have a military side, they have a civilian side to security. This risk register addresses that. This is a way of bringing together knowledge that each MDA has within their respective sector and unifying it into a national. That is the purpose of it. So it's to try to enhance collaboration between agencies. It's not about identifying it is about identifying gaps, but it is more about working together to address those gaps.
A 55-year-old man from La Digue was taken to Baysetan Hospital today for medical treatment following a fire on a boat. According to a police statement, the incident occurred this morning at Ilève Port. Police plan to provide further details in a future statement. And with this, we end this news summary. Have a very pleasant evening.